In the 21st century, one of the most clear issues facing men is our relationship with the opposite sex, or in many cases, the lack thereof a relationship. It is no secret, men and women are not okay with each other. Women will always do what they do best, which is to socialize and form connections. They have continued to do so with little difficulty. They form extensive social relations with each other and have very little difficulty in their social lives. What has happened is that most men have been locked out of having a healthy social life. 2 out of every 3 men now report feeling hopeless and lonely. Women are not going through what men are going through, so at best they are unaware. At worst, women are bewildered and afraid of these men. This has boiled over into a crisis-level event. Politics and media figures has slowly begun shifting their messaging to cater to this demographic of frustrated males. Racist and anti-Semitic rhetoric is at an all-time high. Many innocent people are now being verbally chastised by hordes of angry males. The fact is this: there is a large and growing demographic of fighting-age men who feel worthless, excluded, and like the system wants them dead. My simple message to anyone who misunderstands this turbulent situation: you are not safe. There's a popular saying that these men throw around like a sad revenge fantasy, that good times create weak men create hard times create strong men, and that ultimately strong men will create good times all over again, continuing the cycle. But I disagree. At best, this talk is no more than hubris from weak males. Who are they to proclaim themselves strong? Do strong men whine about things all day on the internet? Go on any internet space where political or social topics are discussed. They're all full of whining and deeply bitter males. It is these same men who chant the saying as if they themselves are the strong men. These frustrated men still don't realize that they too are the weak men that are bringing society to its downfall. Given the opportunity, they will engage in the very degeneracy they claim to hate. A strong man would not be extreme right or left wing. Politics stem from a society already established. It is only when your politics stem from a society that you personally have equity in that you even are qualified to hold a political opinion. And I could even criticize the saying itself. It is not necessarily true that hard times will create strong men. Today's technology has made the weapons of war lethal beyond all reason. War is now a cold binary of do you or do you not have the resources to obliterate opposition. Because of this, hard times in today's world isn't going to create strong men. It is going to create dead men. Lots and lots of dead men. The men who remain will be random, not based on any strength nor merit, just luck and happenstance. Will those men create good times? There's no real reason why they would. They may just recreate the same world as the one that was obliterated. Men need to understand that, as of right now, from everything that I'm seeing, the strong men have yet to arrive, because they would be breaking ground out in the wilderness, building new societies and living nomadically. Us monastics do this kind of thing regularly. We don't see political extremists out there with us. That tells us everything we need to know. These men think they are the strong men who will bring the good times when all they do is assign blame like a woman. As a great example, one of the things that gets commonly blamed for causing the current dynamics is dating apps. This is one of the most ridiculous and moronic things to bring up. Every problematic thing that women currently do started perhaps as much as a century prior to dating apps, and perhaps a century prior to the invention of the internet. They blame things like dating apps because it coincides with when the majority of them realized that it's over. I'm here to educate you that the issues we face with the dynamics between men and women, none of this started recently. It predates all of us back to times long since gone. And it doesn't even matter what's to blame. Women ultimately want a man. A man does not assign blame. He grabs a shovel and he starts building the world he wants to see. If you build it, women will come because they want a man. They can't tell you what a man is, but they instinctually know what a man looks like and what he does. Until we see this happen, then the strong men have yet to arrive. And judging by the way men are currently going, there's a real chance that we monastics alone will be the only strong men. This has been Emperor Dion, and that concludes my sermon. Welcome YouTube, this is Emperor Dion. We need to redo this topic that I once did in one of my old videos because most of my videos are deleted. You have to find them on the dark web or you have to go to an archive on my Discord server to look at a lot of those. But I feel like this topic is worth revisiting because I constantly see this get thrown around all the time where people are saying, guys are saying pretty much that dating apps are what ruined Western women, what ruined the modern dating landscape, what ruined all this stuff. I have always pushed back against this narrative, though. Guys, there were plenty of incels before dating apps. I was one of them, so I definitely can tell you, most definitely, okay, like the shit was already fucked way before Tinder, for damn sure. I remember. Like, dude, for me, in my perspective, nothing has really changed since 2007. Okay, so that's way before Tinder. When did Tinder come out? 2012? You see, but I noticed that everybody I run across in this space, they always have some narrative of like, oh, everything was all good until Tinder was released and everything was all hunky-dory for them and they were able to get a girlfriend and they were able to do this and that, and until the Fire Nation attack. Like my friend Solarpunk, he says this, everything was all hunky-dory for him. He had girlfriends, he got plenty of relationships and plenty of attention from girls, and then one day the Fire Nation attack, aka Tinder released. So, but for guys like me, there's no distinction between pre-Tinder and post-Tinder. I was getting no action way before Tinder. Okay, so I kind of feel like most of the guys in this space that say this narrative about the dating apps aren't really inkwells. They aren't really. No, I'll go ahead and say probably things got worse. It didn't get any better, but this is not at all the case with all of a sudden dating apps are going to ruin everything. Because for starters, I could just say this. Most people aren't on dating apps. Most women specifically aren't on dating apps. Like, have you guys seen the statistics for the amount of men versus the amount of women on dating apps? It's something like, what, the men outnumber the women on those apps like by 4 times. So the majority of women aren't even on these apps, guys. How is that ruining anything? No, the majority of women are on them. It's all dudes. So what? If anything, you could say dating apps ruin men. I mean, but that would obviously be retarded to say because that's not happening. But the numbers don't really math on this. When you really just put any amount of scrutiny on this stuff, how is it ruining women when the majority of women aren't even on them? So that's point number 1 that you could say. Point number 2, though. Point number 2 just goes back to, what do women like to do online? They don't use dating apps if they're gonna meet a guy. No, women usually use social media as their dating app. So they're not really on Tinder. Some of them are, but most of them are actually just on Instagram or Snapchat or something where they can see a laundry list of all your posts and where you at and have you been active on posting and what kind of life are you living, who are your friends, who you hang out with, where you go, where you hang out at. Like, women want to see all these kind of things because that's the thing that's really important for women as far as like when they're evaluating who they're going to have reproductive entertainment with. All those things, pretty much. And as well as your looks, obviously, but guys, women aren't going to use a dating app because they don't have the ability to see all these other things about you as well as they could on social media. You can't really, well, you're not really going to see stuff like that on a dating app. Like, you could put this stuff on there, but most people don't. They're not going to have their dating app as extensively documenting of their life as a social media profile. So that's point number 2. Women don't even like using a dating app over social media. They'll just use social media as the dating app. So if anything, you can argue that maybe social media was a big negative that kind of pushed women to the things that we see nowadays. But I would even push back against that too. I don't think social media even did it. No, you know what? Because I've just pointed out how myself, I predate most guys in this space as far as like being an incel. I predate most guys. I was definitely an incel before Tinder. I was definitely one before social media too. So it's like, and there's also plenty of guys who predate me as an incel. So there were incels in the 90s, guys. I've seen these guys. They're like these older guys that I've seen. If you hang around long enough in the BP space, yeah, you'll see these older guys, past like 50, 60. These guys were incels in the 90s, guys. So what was going on with them? Like, there has to be something further back that actually ruined women. That's what I'm getting at here. In order for that to be true, there are plenty of them. You didn't have the internet back in their day, of course, so they were a lot less visible, but they were there. So how do you explain that? Just because it didn't start to affect you until recently or whatever, like after Tinder, doesn't mean that the problem was already in motion. It's what I'm basically telling you here. So it couldn't have been. It really couldn't have been the apps that did it, guys. I don't like this narrative. People always have this narrative. Oh, bro, Tinder ruined it. The dating apps ruined it. They constantly are blaming the dating apps. It's obvious that much of this stuff predates dating apps. And if anything, guys, here's a controversial opinion too. I don't mind the existence of dating apps. I like the existence of dating apps actually, because they actually help me more so than they do anyone else, So like, I'm the one that's actually getting benefits out of the existence of them. Like, guys, I'm introverted. I'm an introverted dude. I'm never gonna walk up and cold approach a girl. I'm never gonna approach a girl. I'm never gonna do stuff like that. What is an introverted guy like me gonna do other than go on a dating app? You see, so dating apps, no, it didn't even, I would argue that dating apps didn't hurt anything. I would argue that dating apps helped. They certainly helped guys like me. Because if it wasn't for dating apps, I wouldn't be able to get girls at all. Period. Or it'd be probably lesser quality than I could get, currently. Like, guys, how do you think, like, I've had a girlfriend almost continuously nonstop for like the last 4 or 5 years. How do you think I do that, guys? I do it through dating apps. So, like I said, this narrative about the dating apps being bad, I don't agree with it. I don't co-sign it. I think it's kind of low IQ. It ignores all the incels that were around before us, before me even. Like, it definitely doesn't explain my situation. It definitely doesn't explain all these old guys that were incels in like the 80s and 90s. It definitely doesn't. So anyways, I mean, I guess the thing that ruined the dating dynamics isn't anything to do with technology. I feel like, although technology certainly didn't help, but what really did it is obviously female empowerment. Female empowerment goes all the way back to the 1920s and even past there, you could argue. So that's what it is, guys. It might have took a long time for it to progress this far, but that's what it is. That's pretty obvious. The general trend of female empowerment over decades and decades and decades of time. And now we're so far in it now that you're seeing the shit that we see today. And technology doesn't really have a role to play in that trend. Like, yeah, technology came into play in our lifetimes, and we're seeing some effects off of that, but that's not the cause of it, guys. That's not the cause. That's basically what I'm telling you. That's not the cause. So with that being said, you know, this video needs to be out there, though. You guys need to understand this about the whole dynamic here. Like, too many of you guys are blaming dating apps, and really dating apps is the only thing that's saving guys like myself, you know. So really learn about the actual cause of things. I do believe, you know, female empowerment, that shit goes all the way back to the 1800s. So really, you know, what caused the dating market to go downhill, that's done by men that are way no longer with us. You know, events that predate your birth by several decades. And that's nothing we can really do anything about. We can educate ourselves about the real cause of things, but anyways, I think this video is well said and well spoken enough, and I'll go ahead and end it here. This has been Emperor Dion. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.